Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Medium by Design. Oh, it's even earlier than usual. So, I was inspired to talk about a very interesting concept that even I had trouble getting my mind around. And I guess the simplest word for it is programming. So in television, you know that programming is what the producers do, or a part of the team, that create what they want to show us, right? The same thing in movies. Things are presented to us in a story-like fashion to have us entertained, sometimes to receive a message that the people creating that piece of work want us to know. But it goes deeper than that. Programming is such an interesting concept because when you really become your own thinker, you can see how you were easily drawn into certain situations or certain beliefs of living that do not really match what supports you to be the healthiest, the most energized, the most creative. And this gets really interesting because I was thinking about my own life and how I used to be part of many, many, many different realities and experiences with people and groups and banks and debt. And when I was involved in that, this is before the last crash, I really thought that's how life was. I thought that that was normal. And I'm sure for millions of us, it was normal. Living day to day, for me, wondering where my next work was, which I still have now. I never know where my work is coming from. But I don't have any of the ties, those limiting ties that I had before. I don't own a house. I don't have any debt. I don't have many bills. You know, the last 10, 12, 14 years, 15 years, 16 years, things have been taken away, have been cleared out. And I can't say it was all my smarts that made these choices. Circumstances led me out of that old way of life and into this much more simplistic way. And I think that financial crashes can help us see things differently and change the way we live our daily lives and change our priorities. But it takes time to figure this stuff out. Because at the time, when I was going through all these changes, I really felt like a failure. Because my gauge of success was based on another program, what many people thought success was, and relating it to dollars and cents. And now that is not the case. Freedom can equal success. And the more free we are to really just, even if it's as simple as being to relax on a day that everybody else is working, you know, that's freedom. That's a level of freedom. For me, freedom, the ultimate freedom would be to go anywhere in the world that I would like to go without hesitation. That's a priority for me. I have not lived that level of freedom yet, but I hope to. You know, it's one of the things that I value, to be able to travel. So the idea of what programs, or the question we need to ask ourselves, what programs are we still involved in, part of, that are not supporting us to be the free, creative being, human, that we were meant to be? And I think this period, this 2020 experience, is giving people, not everybody, remember there are some people that are trying to keep things going the way they were, just to survive. And even that's a program, the survival program. People that think they're here just to survive, that's not really the right attitude. Morning. The cat's walking you?
I gotta give him some encouragement.
Oh. There's not many out. It's pretty early. So, these are the deeper thoughts that I've been having the last 3 days, and I think this is part of this period of 2020 to rethink, to reevaluate, to change our value list, what's important to us. So you can see this all over the place. Again, I'm not talking above anybody here. You know, we're just looking at our daily lives and saying, well, how are we going to make this better? You know, how are we going to get out of some of these programs that have kept us limited and fear-based and survival-based? Because when you're fear-based and survival-based, you cannot thrive. And a lot of people that are just, you know, stuck in that way of existence, they can't even think beyond that. They don't know that there's anything else available. I didn't. You know, when I was restoring the house that I had, I was in love with that house. I loved my creativity. So that part I had going really well. I was being creative and I really loved it. And I had friends. I had really close friends that were helping me do this house. And I knew that was a stepping stone to something else because I didn't know where I would be today. I didn't know that I could, you know, be part of these, you know, a remodel for somebody else. I was just doing it for myself. So, but the ultimate program that was holding me back in that experience wasn't the creativity. It was the debt. Debt was strangling me. And many others, because I'll tell you this, during that period, which was back, you know, the 2005 to 2010 period, I don't know how many people claimed bankruptcy and how many lost their homes, you know, to foreclosures and short sales, whatever. And I was one of them. And the thing is, we're headed towards another round of a change of reality for millions of other people. That's going to include job changes and debt restructuring and clearing of debt, which is the best way. Clearing of debt is just fabulous. I am all for clearing of debt. Anything that frees you up. So, you know, these are some of the things that I just thought we want to contemplate. Now, the funny thing is, the crowd that I hang out with now, which is so interesting and almost bizarre, mostly now, my friends are definitely over 60. You know, I have only a few friends that are under 60 and under 50. Very few. And it's just really interesting how my soul required a different connection to learn about a different perception of reality and different programs. Because even the over 70 crowd, they have their own programs that they're trying to break free of. And that's really interesting to watch. So, and I'm not saying everybody's conscious of this. This is why I'm talking about it. Because I don't think people even realize. Here's a simple way that you can evaluate, and one example of a program. If you, and I know this because I'm very aware of the energy of my parents. Because we, for lack of a better term, I think we were karmically tied. Which many of you can relate to. So, if you see yourself acting exactly like a parent or somebody else, you know that that's a program. Because that's not your full self. You're imitating or living by someone else's beliefs, teachings, or ideas. Oh, here's the sheep. Or the goats. I'm sorry. This is the house with the goats. What are you guys doing? I forgot the carrots again. Look at you. You're all up early. You want to see? We have one in the corner. And the big white and black one. Another little one. So this is the house with the goats. I will bring those carrots. I keep forgetting. It's funny, my parents are doing the feeding of the animals in New Jersey. And then I was thinking I should feed these animals too, because they love carrots. Probably apples and a lot of other things too. So anyway, so if you find yourself behaving or speaking like a family member or parent, that's where your red flag can go up and question, wow, is that a program? Am I just believing or speaking or acting like my parents because that's what I picked up from them? And I feel it the same way with debt. We were taught, or I was taught, that you can create so much more if you take loans. You can do so much more. Well, if your income changes and you don't have that income to cover those debts, that is not freedom. I was being strangled by that lifestyle. So I am grateful that I am not part of that anymore, and I don't plan on being, because that program in my mind is dead and gone. You know, every time I want to do something, and don't get me wrong, I'm still a materialistic person. I love cars. I have my favorite cars picked out and things I want to buy and houses, you know, and ideas. But my way ever since that time, and this may help some of you, there's two things that I did between back then, the last crash, and what I'm doing now. Two experiences, two exercises that I took on. The first one was when everything was crashing the last time, I, in communicating with Spirit and God and my angels and guides, I said, well, and my soul, of course, don't forget your soul. Don't leave your soul out of your spirit connection. So, the decision, the conscious decision I made back then was, if everything has to fall, then I have to move into free and clear. And that was my prayer for years, for many years. I said, everything I do from now on leads me to free and clear. So if I want something material, it has to come to me free and clear, which is a very different way of thinking. And for those people that are, that are at a great income level and they can just sign loans and do that, and they're comfortable with that, this will make no sense at all. And I am totally okay with that. If you've got multiple streams of income, which I'm working on, I'm learning from those people how to create different things. Because again, my program about money was very limited. I didn't understand, right? I don't know everything. I may be connected to the universe and have great communication, but that's my strongest thing. Then I have other areas that are weak. And I have to work on those areas, just like all of us do. We have our natural gifts and talents, and then we have our areas that are weak. So my weakest area was income, and the energy around that. So free and clear was the first decision that I made, and it worked out really good, because my not knowing what was coming in 2020, my nervous system would not be able to handle, and this is very personal, my nervous system would not be able to handle the lifestyle I had back in 2005 to 2000, 2007, or 2000 to 2007, that period. I could not live that lifestyle right now. It's impossible. My nervous system would not be able to handle it. So So, morning. I'm making a video. I'm walking while I'm walking. So, here's the new thing for 2020 that came to me, and this was my new, I'm going to say, rewriting of an old program of abundance. When I declare my abundance, I decided or was guided or was inspired to do a prayer of 360 degrees vertically around me, and also, horizontally around me and vertically around me, and that I would be receptive to all kinds of abundance, meaning great health, financial freedom, creative endeavors and avenues, multi streams of income. And when I added the 360 in, that helped my mind to realize it doesn't know where all the abundance comes from. And see, that's another program. The mind is locked in programs. The soul, even though it can have soul history that could be limited, wants total freedom and creativity. So when you're thinking, you're contemplating your reality and how you want to be free, think about the opportunities that can come from 360 degrees, angles that you may not be aware of. So I think I'm going to stop here because I was distracted a few times with other people, and I think that's enough to contemplate. And there's more to come on the Medium by Design and this newer way of thinking for 2020. Thanks for tuning in.